At precisely 1930 NATO time, on the evening of September 21, 2025, a wave of Ukrainian drones struck deep into Russian-occupied Crimea, hitting the luxurious Foros Sanatorium, a resort long favored by Russia's political elite. According to the Russia-installed head of Crimea, the attack killed 3 people and injured 16 others. The residence belongs to none other than Russia's most guarded elite, a retreat designed for extravagance and secrecy. Inside, crystal glasses clink and laughter echoes through marble halls. It is a night meant for comfort, for scheming, and for indulgence. But just beyond the horizon, cutting silently across the Black Sea, something far smaller and infinitely deadlier is stalking them. Panic swept through the normally serene resort as visitors scrambled to escape. Guests clutching luggage and children hurried through the smoke-filled corridors of the Foros Sanatorium, their footsteps echoing against marble floors. How was this even possible? How did Ukraine manage to pull off such an unbelievable strike and get its drones deep inside a zone that's supposed to be one of Russia's most heavily guarded areas? Ukraine's strike was not a random act of chance. It was a calculated operation using cutting-edge unmanned technology and precise intelligence. At the heart of the mission was the Mura 55, a 16-foot fiberglass drone boat designed to be almost invisible to radar and fast enough to outrun most coastal defenses. Operating under cover of darkness, the vessel slipped across the Black Sea like a phantom, carrying 6 OSA FPV attack drones inside its compact hull. Each OSA drone, small enough to fit in a backpack but armed with a 1.5-pound shaped charge, is built to pierce reinforced concrete and armored targets by channeling explosive energy into a focused jet of molten copper. Once the Mura 55 reached its launch point near Crimea's shore, these airborne precision daggers could be released to hit high-value sites with surgical accuracy. The chosen target, the Foros Resort and the surrounding state dachas, was far more than a vacation spot. These estates serve as discreet meeting grounds for Russian generals, intelligence officers, and senior planners. Striking here disrupted a location used for strategic coordination and sent a clear signal that even Russia's most protected enclaves are vulnerable. The attack carried not only a symbolic blow to morale, but also a practical objective: weakening Russian control of the Black Sea corridor and safeguarding Ukraine's grain export routes. At 1931, just 3 miles off the Crimean coastline, the Mura 55 slows. It flashes one final laser guidance signal, transferring command to its brood, before vanishing back into the shadows of the sea lanes. Now, the mission rests in the tiny frames of 6 machines that should be too small to matter, yet carry the weight of an entire nation's hopes. Instantly, the OSA drones accelerate. Their miniature engines roar to life, propelling them at 60 miles per hour across the waves. Spray leaps up around them, the salt tang clinging to their frames as they skim just above the surface, moving so low they seem to taste the sea itself. But these are not reckless charges in straight lines. They follow a strategy born of desperation and brilliance, a maneuver crafted by Ukraine's military intelligence and given a name that sounds as if it were whispered by ghosts: the Ghost Chain. The lead drone ejects a sudden burst of metallic confetti, 500 glimmering strips of aluminum chaff scattering like a storm of silver snow. To the naked eye, it is nothing more than trash caught in the wind. But to the electronic gaze of Russian radar, it is chaos incarnate. The cloud appears as a storm of phantom echoes, hundreds of false targets blooming on their screens. The 5 other drones slip neatly behind this veil, cloaked by noise, invisible hunters shadowed by stone and sea. They hug the cliffs of Foros, staying within the radar blind spots carved by rock itself. Ahead, a Russian patrol boat idles, searching the night with sensors and scopes. The drones time their move with inhuman precision. For exactly 2.7 seconds, they rise above the waterline, just enough to vault over an obstacle, exposing themselves for barely 12 feet before vanishing once again into the folds of shadow. It is a dance with mathematics, with death waiting for any misstep. Then nature intervenes. A brutal gust of wind sweeps the Black Sea, 20 knots strong, slamming against the fragile frames of the drones. Drone number 3, the weakest of the swarm, feels it the hardest. Its antenna, already corroded by salt, begins to falter. A slight targeting error, 2.3 degrees, suddenly magnifies into chaos. The machine bucks wildly, jerking in the air like a horse trying to throw off its rider. Hundreds of miles away, deep beneath the ground in an Odessa bunker, an operator's hands drip with sweat as he clutches his controls. He sees the error spike, watches the tiny dot on his monitor convulse against the wind. He knows the whole mission could unravel if he cannot steady this one fragile bird. His breath comes in short bursts as he fights the storm through nothing more than fingertip pressure and raw nerve. On the cliffs above, a Russian Spetsnaz trooper scans the horizon with an expensive thermoscope, searching for ghosts. To him, this patrol is routine until it isn't. A sudden flash of heat cuts across his lens. A target. Raising his electromagnetic rifle, a weapon designed to fry circuits with invisible energy, he takes aim and fires. The lead decoy drone spasms, its electronics fried instantly. Sparks spit into the night before the machine plunges into the sea. The Russian soldier radios in his triumph, unaware that he has just slain a ghost, not the real threat. In his pride, he has unknowingly cleared the path for the true assassins crawling silently beneath him. His warning call, though, wakes the Russian defense grid. Near Yalta, a Panzer S-1 battery lights up. Operators see not 5 small drones, but a massive false target, the illusion crafted by the aluminum chaff. The system screams an alarm. Enemy inbound. A command echoes through the control room. A missile, worth millions, roars skyward, accelerating to Mach 3. In Odessa, the Ukrainian operator watches the missile streak across his screen. His lips curl into a dry smile. "Go ahead," he mutters. "Burn your fortune on smoke." Seconds later, the missile obliterates the chaff cloud in a spectacular fireball. Russian commanders cheer, believing they have scored a kill. In reality, they have annihilated nothing more than air and foil. While the defenders celebrate, the Mura 55 plays another card. From 10 miles offshore, it emits a false electronic signal, imitating a larger vessel. A Russian patrol boat takes the bait, veering off course in pursuit of this phantom prize. The corridor is now clear for the swarm. But Russia's fury is not so easily fooled. Sirens scream across Sevastopol from a nearby airbase, and Su-30 fighter jet claws into the night sky, its afterburners painting fiery scars against the dark. It is a machine built for supremacy, a predator worth $50 million, armed with missiles designed to erase anything that flies. Against plywood and carbon fiber, it should be an unstoppable god. Yet the swarm refuses to play its game. At a signal, the 6 drones fracture their formation. 2 drop even lower, their silhouettes swallowed by sea clutter. 3 climb, rising to 200 feet. Suddenly, the pilot's hunt is no longer simple. He is confronted with a geometry problem that no weapon can solve. Multiple threats at multiple altitudes, weaving toward targets near civilian zones where he cannot safely fire. Frustrated, Russia unleashes its invisible hammer. A blanket of electronic warfare, 5 miles wide, floods the sky. It is an electromagnetic hurricane meant to blind, deafen, and kill control links. In Odessa, screens blur into static. For a moment, the operators lose their connection. But the OSAs don't falter. Their AI simply shrugs off the storm, switching to internal gyroscopes and dead reckoning. They fly like creatures with instincts, obeying physics, immune to the chaos of the electromagnetic tempest. Still, the Russians are not defenseless on the ground. Spetsnaz teams deploy kinetic nets, fire tracer rounds guided by thermal imaging. One drone erupts in a burst of fire, a tiny sun blossoming against the black cliffs. The operator in Odessa grits his teeth. One loss is acceptable. 4 remain, and the timer on his screen flashes the only number that matters: 20 seconds to target. The defense network thrashes in desperation, flinging steel and fire into the night. And then Ukraine plays its most audacious bluff. One drone alters its signal, disguising itself as a civilian aircraft, broadcasting codes that scream passenger planes. Its path angles toward a school. Panic ripples through the Russian chain of command. To shoot risks global outrage. To hold fire risks catastrophe. That single hesitation is all the swarm requires. While radars are paralyzed by doubt, 4 drones slip like phantoms through the chaos. They emerge from the cliff shadows with an unobstructed view of the Foros Sanatorium. In the sea lanes, the Mura 55 releases one final laser pulse. It corrects the wobbling course of the damaged drone, snapping its targeting back into lethal precision. Inside the bunker, the Ukrainian operator whispers, calm and deadly, steady. Now 4 green locks illuminate his screen. The main hall is in their sights. The Russian defenders open up with everything. The Pantsir's cannons spit 4,000 rounds per minute, a storm of steel roaring through the night. The sky becomes a furnace of tracers and explosions. But the drones do not scatter. They converge, 4 arrows aimed at one heart. The operator speaks the words like a judge delivering a sentence. Fox 3. Release payload. From beneath the drones, the shaped charge detach. Their fins snap open as gravity claims them, accelerating their fall into terminal dives. At over 200 miles per hour, they descend like avenging angels. Their carriers, job complete, veer back toward the sea. The first warhead strikes the glass dome of the main hall. 4 inches of armored material vaporize as the shaped charge transforms copper into a molten jet 5,000 degrees hot. It punches through stone, through steel, through air itself like a god's finger of fire. The banquet below is obliterated in an instant. The second warhead finds the kitchens. Gas lines rupture. A secondary explosion consumes half the building. The third smashes into the garage, igniting an armored limousine worth $750,000, turning luxury into a column of flame. The fourth tears into the central event hall, annihilating the very table where secret plans were being drawn. The explosions ripple outward, their electromagnetic shock frying radar systems for miles. A section of the Crimean coast goes blind. The Foros Sanatorium, worth $50 million, collapses into smoking ruin. As dawn breaks, the truth is laid bare. The coastline, once pristine, now bears a scar of twisted steel and shattered marble. Russia's secret haven is gone, its war planning in tatters, its fleet forced to retreat further into the sea. Ukraine's grain corridor, once strangled, now breathes more freely. In Odessa, the operator watches satellite images flicker across his screen. His body slumps with exhaustion, but a thin smile creeps across his face. The lesson is ancient, yet eternal. Even the mightiest empire can be humbled by the smallest weapon, if the strike is true. The ghost chain has done its work. The sea itself has become Ukraine's weapon. And the empire across the waves, loud, brutal, seemingly immovable, stands revealed for what it truly is, a sandcastle before the tide. So the question remains, for those who watch this unfold, was this an act of pure tactical genius, or something even more profound? You decide. The battlefield has changed forever, and the smallest machines may yet prove to be the sharpest arrows in history's quiver.